So today we're going to talk about 5 more ways that cancer can kill you. Hey everyone, Todd here, internalarchitect.com, and I wanted to do a follow-up to a video that I created a couple years ago about how cancer kills you. And the reason for this is after going through my most current cancer experience with lymphoma, I ended up going through a number of different scary situations that could have veered off to a direction that would have been very difficult and very painful. So the first one we're going to talk about is metastasis, or metastasizing. And what happens is the cancer grows to a point to where it starts to spread and moves to a different part of the body, an organ or skin or bone marrow. It can go into a lot of different areas depending on what type of cancer it is. In my case, I've had lymphoma twice now. Both times it metastasized into different areas of the body. The first time it metastasized into my liver and it took over my liver. Somehow my liver function and everything still worked okay, but it took over that whole thing. And when you looked at my PET scans, you could see just how hot my liver was because it was so inundated with the lymphoma. And the second time, it had started to metastasize in the upper right part of my lung, in the upper right lobe of it, and had caused a little bit of scar tissue. So in my case, as lymphoma goes, it spread twice. It ultimately spread both times throughout the rest of my body after certain parts of the treatment to other areas and lymph nodes throughout my body, and that's why it became a very serious deal both times. Now, the second thing that can cause cancer to kill you is infection. Infection is your body's response to not only the cancer, but also the treatments involved. Chemotherapy affects your immune system by making you more susceptible to infections and illnesses like pneumonia and sepsis. So I had a really close call with getting an infection that could have been a game changer for me when it comes to survival. What ended up happening with me is I ended up fevering really bad for a pretty good period of time, about a week, and that was getting me closer to sepsis or having an issue with sepsis. The whole thing was brought on because of inflammation with me, and that had to do with all the treatment. I was fortunate that my team and myself was able to get it all under control before it went into an infection. In my case, I ended up dealing with a really, really high, what is called a ferritin level. And your ferritin level is a way to tell how much inflammation is going on in your body. My ferritin level, when we found this, was a little over 23,000. Now, a normal person should be anywhere between 0 and 300. And what that was doing was causing me to have fevering on a constant basis. My body couldn't take care of what was going on, so I had to go on some drugs to deal with the fevering. Now, if we left it unchecked and we didn't do that, my body could have gone into potential sepsis due to the fevering and due to inflammation, and how that can cause problems just dealing with treatment, especially when you're in the middle of chemotherapy regimens and radiation regimens as well. I had a couple very high fevers. One was at 105 and the other one was at just under 108. It was 42.2 degrees Celsius, which turns out to be 107.98 or something. So literally 108 degrees, essentially cooking myself from the inside out. Now, the third one that I want to talk about is malnutrition. Malnutrition can be a huge part as well due to the lack of wanting to eat during chemotherapy sessions or radiation sessions as well. Because it affects how you feel, you may or may not want to eat. And if you do this over a long period of time, you'll become malnourished. When you're not getting the nourishment that you need, that in itself can cause other situations just like the fourth one I'm going to talk about, and that's muscle wasting. Now, both muscle wasting and malnutrition I like to keep kind of in a similar boat. They work kind of in conjunction with each other, because when you're not getting the nutrition you need, you're not being able to rebuild your muscle. Your body's not able to rebuild itself. You're not giving the body energy needed to take care of the regenerative growth that needs to happen in order to battle these situations, and the nutrition that your mitochondria cells need to, in order to create energy and to rebuild themselves at the cellular level as well. And that just moves over to the muscle wasting, because it goes down too. So that's why I like to consider both those in the same realm, because if you're not getting the nourishment you need and you're not able to keep your body moving at the same time, your body will start to waste away. And that's when you see people during treatment, they have almost like given up. Their eyes are super shallow and they're just really frail, and they have a hard time just really staying motivated because they feel that bad. They feel so terrible. And I think the fifth one that I want to talk about is dehydration. Dehydration can start to move into a lot of problems when you are going through treatment, mostly because when you are in the middle of chemotherapy, your body needs to be able to flush all that chemotherapy and all those drugs out. And if you're not giving yourself enough hydration to help work all that out, all that toxic medicine can build up in your body, and that can also lead to infection and other type of medical issues that will compound over time. Now, I know how difficult it is to really work on all these things when you're in the middle of chemotherapy, especially nutrition, especially hydration. When you're going through chemotherapy, your body, it does the best it can to fight that. It does create infection, and from there, it can just spread. It starts to work on your mindset and your mental health. Just when you're feeling ill all the time, it will wreak havoc in every aspect that you are trying to overcome in order to overcome the cancer and the treatment that comes along with it. Now, I get it. Chemotherapy, it's a poison. It's one of those things that you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Chemotherapy poisons you to kill the cancer in order for you to live. But at the same time, cancer is a poison in itself in how it reacts to the body and how it literally just takes over and creates a really inhospitable place for your body to thrive and grow in a good, positive way. You suffer either way. So there's a lot to be said about being able to go through treatment in order to live. So those are the 5 more things of how cancer can kill you. Now, if you have any comments or questions, please hit me in the comment section below and let me know what you're thinking. And if you haven't hit subscribe, hit that subscribe button and punch that bell for notifications. It helps get this in the hands of more people. So, hey, just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time and energy, and I will see you on the next video.